Okay, we're live. Hello, good evening from here, and good morning, good afternoon, and I think it's more or less evening stroke. Afternoon stroke evening in Nigeria. It's about six. 5 p.m. now. So those in the Pacific are probably in the morning. So you're welcome to Opinion Sharers again. It's another weekend where we've decided to talk about something else. Something that I believe should concern a majority of Nigerians because, I read an article a few minutes ago, saying that 60% of Nigeria's population are youths or young people or people who can be categorized as or classified as young people. And then he was also talking about unemployment. So today we will be looking at things are hard, and we agree that things are hard for Nigerians, especially young Nigerians. So tonight we are not going to be looking at only the negative aspect of it. We are going to be looking at possible suggestions from our own personal experiences, from the things that we have learned. We're going to be bringing out suggestions, so Timley will be talking about his experience as a scholar, someone who has traveled out of Nigeria, and Village Boy probably will be looking at it intergenerational perspective of it, and Tosin also will be talking about it from the perspective of someone who is based in the UAE, and I would also be contributing my own quota from all any kind of angle. So our opinions today will be divergent. It will be based on our personal experiences and knowledge. So I hope that those who will watch this video today will learn one or two things, especially in a situation where I think majority of us can agree that things are hard for Nigerians. This was my own um, perspective or perception. So some people might disagree that things are not hard, but as I'm concerned, from the news that I'm hearing, based on my own interaction with the people that I have in Nigeria, I would say things are hard for young Nigerians. So what is the way out? How can they salvage whatever, if there's anything left at all? We're going to be looking at options. If there are options that are left, how can they access such options, whether in Nigeria or abroad? So those are the things that we'll be looking at today. So if you're watching, I ask that you please help us share. Share the links. Let's invite the average young person who probably have small data to be able to watch us, and those who might be able to, the information will get to them later. So we'll be sharing, I believe, life impacting or transforming information today. So thank you for joining us. Once again, I thank you. Please help us share. Share it, even if you don't need it. Share it because somebody else who might be on your friend list who would need some of the information that we'll be sharing today. It's going to be very, very rich. It's going to be enlightening. I assume some part of it will be thought-provoking. So it will be highly informative and educative. Let me not speak too much grammar. So thank you. Thank you again for joining us. Let's introduce ourselves, starting with the village boy.
Thank you very much. It's been a while. I'm the village boy.
All right, Tosin.
Hi, friends. Welcome to the show again this week. I'm Citizen Oluwatosin.
All right, Timmy.
Good day, everyone. My name is Timile. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Joe. I was thinking that Tosin's voice is like somebody in the other room. I hope all is well.
I
Maybe he
actually,
just finished.
I woke up today sick. Someone told me
Oh,
some minute ago that maybe I have corona. I woke up
uh,
sick today.
okay.
I'm not
Maybe you
feeling
should. You need to go get tested. Anyway, thank you very much. Some people are already saying hi. Citizen Oluwatosin, somebody is saying hi here on the comment section. Timothy, thank you. Okoha, John, thank you. So we'll be looking at the topic, things are hard for Nigerian youths. I want to ask the village boy, do you agree? Do you think things are hard for Nigerian youths?
Well, thank you very much. Things are hard in Nigeria for Nigerians. But I will also agree that the youth are more disproportionately affected because it's happened that this is the most productive years of life, and if that period of life, the opportunities, I think I've said this over and over again, the opportunity it was shrinking before. The opportunity has shrunk. They have no opportunity. The situation is not anyway favoring them. Imagine an able young youth who is in school at the age where he should be in school, and for the past from February till now has been at home due to no fault of his or hers. And it's not as if there are alternatives for him or her. It's not as if there's a job they can do in between to keep body and souls together. And if they have been conscripted to a life of perpetual dependence on people, on drops out, on crumbs that fall, and the crumbs are not even funny. I listened to one funny comedy, and I think one about the lady was saying that they are no longer even serving food in the dream again. That you go at it's not funny actually. That they are no longer even serving food in the dream. During our time when people eat food in the dream, you will be going. We say you go for deliverance. People now I will ask you, bring it to. We don't mind. So I think it is hard. The economy is in disarray because we have lost our production base. Nigeria is not productive, and when you are not, a country is not productive, when a country education is nothing to write home about, the people that bear the weight more, unfortunately, are the youth. So the youth of Nigeria is like unattended to orphans. No hope for today. The future itself is very bleak. Before I become Prophet Jeremiah the Lamentator, I think let me pause it. The street is not smiling for the Nigerian youth. I will say that.
Thank you very much, sir. Really, I don't want us to make it about the negative today, but the truth is that almost to not talk about the negatives, and then we look at, when wrote to me during the week that we should, consider possible way outs, and I was excited about it. But then I look at it, when I just put in Google, things are hard for Nigerian youths, and I saw an article that was written by somebody in 2015, right? The title of that article was The Brutal Challenges of Nigerian Youth. It was written by Chambers, Umezulike. It was published in The Guardian. And the introduction to that article says, I am writing this with a heavy heart, being a Nigerian youth who fully knows what young Nigerians pass through in this country. The statistics are sobering. 60% of Nigeria's population is youth, and youth unemployment in Nigeria is put at 60%. So the question is, if it was 60% in 2015, what's the percentage today? Because generally people seem to think things are worse off than they were in 2015. Similarly, do you agree?
Uh, I mean, this matter is not a matter of agree or not agreeing, but there is one thing that we can be so sure of is that things are not in order in Nigeria. And we know for sure, even though I don't have verifiable facts about the percentage, maybe it was 60% in 2015, and today it is whatever percentage it is. But we can tell from inflation, we can tell from foreign exchange rates, we can tell from so many other indices. There are so many factors that would tell you that Nigeria is not where it used to be in 2015. Even though in 2015 rather, people were clamoring for a new government. People were saying they were tired of the Jonathan government, but we should not forget, even though we debunked it that time, that especially because we were not feeling it as individuals, as citizens, that Nigeria was one of the fastest growing economies in Africa in 2015. There was a UN report at that time. So today, we cannot say the same of Nigeria. So what I don't have the fact, I don't have to agree or disagree, but Nigeria has lost, whatever glory is used to ride on in 2015.
Okay, thank you. Tosin, based on your own interactions with young Nigerians, whether home or abroad, do you think things are hard for them?
Uh, Thank you very much, and welcome to the show again, friends. I can see some friends in the comment section again. Thanks for coming and for the show of love. Thank you very much. Someone is saying need 3 month visa. We are not talking visa now. About the question, this uh, the this is what is very glaring to the blind and audible to the deaf, that things are harder now than they used to be. It's not news. It's not even news. It's not news because those years it is only Nigerians maybe back home that used to feel the heat, but now I think Nigerians globally are feeling the heat. Things are harder now than they used to be. From all statistics, from 2015 till date, things are going down, down, down. Even there is a comic videos that a part of the president's speech was taken, and he said from top to bottom, everything is going from top to bottom. So things are hard, and it is just Nigerians who must give kudos to our people. We must give kudos to ourselves that even when we are passing through a lot, we don't let that a lot show on us. We can still come with powder, with face shining. But things are degenerating than they used to be. People are passing through a lot. Sometimes I used to think that how are people surviving in this country? How are people surviving? Why haven't people revolted till now? Look at what is going on in Sierra Leone. How are people surviving? If you check the prices of item, food and commodity, especially, because when government officials are on TV, they will tell you Kiniko is rising, GDP is rising, Kiniko is rising, we are the fastest economy, we are the Kiniko biggest economy. They will be saying all these statistics, but me, I don't go with that. I go with what is obtainable in the markets. How are we buying a loaf of bread before? How much is it now? How much are we buying a cup of rice before? How much is it today? Because an average man on the street does not understand GDP and what have you. They just want a good life. They just want food to be cheap in the market. Farmers cannot even go to farm again. Insecurity everywhere. Even the presidential convoy was attacked. the presidential convoy himself, the president. That it was attacked days after the terrorists, they disguised them as bandits, said they are going to attack him and kidnap him. And to make that come to pass, they attacked his convoy. And there is no consequences for that. This is a tough time to be a Nigerian. If you think about everything that is going, you will just resort to one song that was popular some years ago, Kulumenta. When we just want to go Kulumenta, when you begin to think, because the more you see, it's just like magic, abracadabra. The more you see, the less you understand. You will just imagine, how will a presidential convoy be attacked and nothing happened? How could Nigerians be kidnapped in a train in their tens, 60 plus, and they have a negotiator and they are release them batch by batch after the pay ransom? Negotiating with criminals. How could a criminal terrorist camp be the adjacent or the opposite police force headquarters? All these are just, they should be what people read in the book as fairy tale. But it is surprising, it is happening during our lifetime. We are seeing this, we have had it all. And it shouldn't go bad than this. Because from 1999, if you want to be rating those that are our president, you will see that our life is just going from top to bottom. So hopefully we can get right in the coming election. Kudos to every Nigerian youth out there, every Nigerian, especially the youth out there that have been represented when I've been a good ambassador of Nigeria, working out to make ends meet. We must also admonish all of us to turn our hunger into vote in the coming election, to go out en masse to vote our conscience for those that we think can fix the country. Because however you go out to, you don't go out to, somebody will emerge the president. And the consequences, you and I will suffer it like we are suffering it now. So the choice is ours.
Okay, Dustin, thank you. Even though as much as I would want us to go straight into the options that are available, I want to still pick the village boy's brain once again. I want village boy to look at his generation and this current generation or our generation. What are the kind of, if you compare them, what was it like? The aspiration of an average Nigerian is, maybe after school, get a job, start doing whatever also you can do. Can you please take us through just maybe for a few minutes? Then I'll ask Timley to go ahead and look at if there are options that you think that you would want to suggest to average Nigerian who is struggling. Also, because what we are trying to do today is, we know that things are bad, but then what are the options? What are the hopes? If I'm a young person who is a Nigerian and based in Nigeria or wherever I am based, what are the options that are there for me? Those are the things, those are major, targets tonight, but I also want us to lay foundation for it. Great, boy.
Yeah, when you look at in terms of it's still boiled down to opportunity. Though there are the role the society played, there are also the role the youth themselves will play. During our time, it's very from geopolitical environment to one to another. But let's say talk about Southwest, for instance. Everybody is encouraged to go to at least to primary school, which is elementary school. And at the point in time, they will say, okay, after your primary school, whether you want to proceed on the educational pathway, you go to secondary school, some go to modern school, some go to teacher training college. Then those who say who don't have head for books, as they used to call it, literally interpreting now, we go to learn a trade. So there is that conscious empowerment that, okay, you have been guided to grow into a productive youth. somebody that is economically empowered to take care of himself or herself. So if you go the educational route, it is expected that when you finish your secondary school, for instance, you may choose to work. If, depending on the status of your family, you may work for some years. Many of us did. Then afterwards, you proceed to higher education. And if you learn a trade, usually between 4 and 5 years, depending on the particular trade you learn, then you set up yourself, which is different from the way the Eastern Southeast are doing it. Your family will set you up. You will do what we call freedom, which is graduation, totally speaking. Then you will either work as a journeyman if you have the capability to set up your own shop or your own trade, to practice your own trade by yourself. You work a bit as a journeyman with an established person in the trade you have learned, and over time, if you're able to save money, then you start your own and you begin to become your own boss. But there are other things that were feeding the economy then that make it a lot easier. So we have a lot of industrial, hubs around the country. In the southwest again, you have, even in Lagos, you have about 3 or 4, 5 hubs. You have Maturi, you have Apapa there, you have Ikeja. I think Ikeja usually was about the biggest someone. Later, there was also some hub in Ikorodu around the Gbogbo area and all that. So you will see that because all these factories were there, the demand for labor was there, the opportunities were there. But if you check now, if I don't have the adequate statistics, but you'll be surprised that 60 to 70% of those factories then during our time have been converted to religious centers, places of worship, where people go. So over time, it's like religion became an industry that took over from manufacturing. And unfortunately, the new industry is not absorbing people in terms of meaningful engagement, meaningful employment. So during our time, the opportunity was a lot better than today. The opportunities are almost no longer there. And when you look at government, who is supposed to be the largest employer of labor, when people get into government office, which is also not necessarily by merit, there are a lot of factors that get into civil service. The first thing you do is, maybe most of them, they do like, they remove like 4, 5, 6 years from their age. So meaning that they will stay longer in service than they should have. And the implication of that is like, the longer they stay, they are blocking the ways of the younger people who are coming to be fed into the system. So you see a kind of stagnancy even in the civil service. Not that civil service and government has the capacity to employ so many people. Then you look at our educational sector, which to me, this is the one that is the saddest of all the decisions we have now. During our time, it was basically public school or missionary school. In most communities, it is the people that gather themselves to build school, and which later the government take over to pay the staff salary and all that. So you will see that all these things that were there for us, the public school system, the industrial hubs where people can go, depending on your skill, to go and work, even to work as laborers, or to work as some land, go there to learn as a technician, and they begin to work. And now when all those factories were closed down or shut down, and the school system, the public school became moribund. So the situation is very lamentable. So it is almost unfair to compare our time with now. Because for me, even saying this, I am crying inside of me
All right, thank you very much, sir. I just I needed that that understanding, because sometimes I don't I become conscious there are those in Nigeria who have never seen it good, and many of them are teenagers. They are young persons and they are 21, 22, 23. Things has never been good for them. It has been struggle from childhood to whoever they are now. Many of them are still in Nigeria. Many of them are even abroad, stuck, not well educated, not really employable, and, but they are citizens, and anyway, Timlane, where do we start from? What are those opportunities? I hope this caption is correct now. What are the options available to Nigerian youths? Yeah. What from your own perspective, from your own personal experiences, and please, as much as possible, don't speak in parables. Speak in plain English. Don't give testimonies, that the kind of testimony you see people give in church. They say, "Oh, praise the Lord, God has done it. This thing we have been praying for. There's something we have been praying for 20 years, and the Lord has done it." And the people will just be wondering, done, So, if possible, okay, this is ABC. This is things that I have achieved. This is how I went through it, so that it will be easy for somebody that's watching this video to be able to say, okay, if this guy did it, perhaps if I also take this step and this step and this step and that step, I may also be able to achieve a lot. And this is disclaimer. This is not to say that we have achieved anything that's, I don't want to also dispel or disregard our own achievement. We've achieved in our own little right, but that does not mean that we are showing. But I just, like the village boy said, there is pain in my heart, and I am among those young persons who are struggling. I'm not that young, but I still consider myself a young person. But I also look at people who are younger than me, a lot younger than me, without the kind of experiences that I have. I can imagine the kind of struggle, So that is why we are, don't mind making ourselves vulnerable in front of you today. So please help us share. Help me share. Not for yourself. Don't be selfish. Share it with somebody else. Okay. Timileyin, please tell us about yourself. So please don't. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, so to begin with, you said, where do we start from? I think where we should start from is just what you said, testimony of people that have gone out there and have done Nigeria proud. So it really doesn't necessarily have to do with just me, because there are so many people, thousands of Nigerians out there that are making giant strides, that are doing pretty well in my municipality here and in other places in Canada, in the US, and in Europe. So I will just capture what people do, that I've known people do, and I did myself, and that has yielded great opportunities and advantages. So, like I said, we'll start from seeing the fact that wherever Nigerians go, anywhere in the world, I mean, you have met Nigerians where you are, they always excel. So we have been talking about the negatives. We have been talking about how the system has limited the Nigerian youth, how the system has, cheated the Nigerian youth. But there is this innate excellent spirit in every Nigerian that I have seen abroad. I don't know about people at home, but they were Nigerians. They left Nigeria. They lived in Nigeria. And the moment they stepped out, they begin to make, Nigeria proud anywhere they are. And I believe everybody on this platform today agrees with me on that most Nigerians outside there, irrespective of the field or their walk of life, they are actually doing well. And that is to tell you that the only difference is location. The only difference is an environment to thrive, an environment that allows you to express your abilities and strengths, and that gives you the opportunity to actually explore opportunities. So I would talk majorly on three aspects or three things that people have done, some of which I have done, and have yielded great results. So first, I'll talk about exploring global academic opportunities. The second one, I'll talk about exploring career opportunities on a global scale. And lastly, I will talk about Canadian immigration system and how Nigerians can actually use or tap into that opportunity. So the first one about academic, in my, like the village boy said, like some people, they will tell you right from that, book no be your own will. So maybe you should go and look at another option. But this is especially for people who have, probably finished their first degree, or they finished SSE, which we know as O level in Nigeria, and they actually made great results. I've seen a lot of people get about 9 A's. I mean A's in WAEC, straight A's. Such candidates are great candidates for SAT, to secure undergraduate scholarships abroad, especially in the US and Canada. So that's one thing. But for the graduate level, I'm talking about people that are adults now, that have gone through the Nigerian education system. They have finished their first degree, and they finished with at least a 2-1 or a first class. There is unlimited opportunity, especially in the US. And I'm very proud to say this, because Nigeria churns out more than 1,000 scholars every year. More than 1,000 scholars every year leave Nigeria to the US to start. In fact, some people they finish BSc and they go to PhD straight, especially in STEM, people in the STEM field. So it is about one thing, having the requirement, which is that your transcript. And this is why I keep saying, especially if you are a student that also has kept out of school for some time, this is an opportunity for you to take a step back and actually plan how you want your transcript to look like when you finish. That is the only academic identity that you have. So one thing that I will talk about is having the skill, having the requirement, which is your transcript. Good transcript. I have seen people finish with 2-2 and get scholarships abroad, with graduate assistantships and all that. But it is a rare case. Many people are doing it. They have asked, but I don't know how to advise you on that. The point is, if you can come on Twitter and get value, and LinkedIn and get valuable information about this thing, there are so many people updating Nigerians and Africans about how to secure scholarships abroad. You just have to spend time on searching for the necessary information and not on BB Niger and other political stuff. Yes, you need to know about the political system in Nigeria. You need to vote, but secure yourself. You cannot even secure Nigeria if you have not secured yourself. That's the number one thing you should take care of. So look for relevant information in your own field that can give you global, leverage. You have 2-1. You shouldn't waste. You are saying you are a microbiologist, you finish with a 2-1 with 4.1 or 4.2, and you have resorted to selling cake up and down. You have to wake up today. You have to wake up today. It is not a bad thing to be selling cake, but what are you going to do with the 2-1 that you got with in microbiology and biochemistry? What are you going to do with what you got in geology, in environmental science? What are you going to do with all of these degrees? Are these papers just going to lay waste in your wardrobe? You have to search for information, relevant information, and they will take you out of the trenches. I'm telling you, they will take you out of the trenches. So that is one thing. When you have the required, the requirement, which is 2-1 or first class, then go ahead and seek information, seek knowledge. Come on Twitter, just search. You did microbiology, right? Masters in microbiology, USA. Just write it on Twitter. I don't on, or maybe on even Google. I don't have a dime. I don't know how to start. You will see information about these things, and they might sound very, very oversimplistic, but that is the truth. Just type it. I know someone that is at UBC today, rounding off. He finished his master's at this school that I am today, and is rounding off his PhD. He was just tired of the educational system. He finished with a first class, and he was recruited into one federal university in Nigeria, and he started his master's, based on scholarship, right? But Nigeria is still Nigeria. You know what I mean by that. So he started doing this graduate assistant job and started his master's. And he just said a lecturer that the only thing that differentiates us is PhD was talking to me like I'm just a non-entity, like I'm an animal. And that day I got frustrated and I just went to Google, how can I leave Nigeria to start my PhD, master's? And that was it. And that was it. Because this Google is going to draw information from many places, Twitter inclusive, LinkedIn, everywhere, university websites. And that is one way you can get yourself out of these trenches, especially if you have 2-1 or a first class. So I rest my case on that academic level. So I will talk about job now. So one thing that will surprise you is that Nigerians are still getting job, even in Nigeria and outside Nigeria, every day. People say there is no job, but people are still getting job. And the difference between you and that person that is getting a job is, number one, having skills. No company is going to hire you if you don't have the relevant skills. You say you are a data analyst, you cannot use Excel, you cannot use R, you don't know anything about Python. How do you want to excel as a data analyst? Let us be sincere with ourselves now. If you own a company, would you employ yourself? These are the questions you should ask yourself. And the good news is that Google, Coursera, and Udemy and other platforms are offering free certification courses on all of these subjects, where you can gain hands-on experience, hands-on skills that you can leverage on, and you can apply for jobs. And you will state it. You are a certified data analyst, certified project manager, certified this and that. And that is just it. Skills, you need to get it. It is only when you get skills and you have the relevant information, and then you package yourself, you package your resume in such a way that nobody is going to read your resume and say, this guy is not worth bringing into our company or organization. So you have the skills. You cannot just write, I have BSc in microbiology, and that is it. It does not work that way. If you think that your certificate is alone is what is going to get you that job, it's a big, fat, robust lie. So you have to do something about getting skills. And how do you know what skills to search for? You have a job in mind. These are the jobs I like to do. Then you look at the job postings, look at the requirements. Do you even fulfill about 80 to 90% of those requirements? If you don't, fill the gap. So get those requirements. If there are skills that you need to learn, sometimes it might take you 3 months. I have seen people without degree in Nigeria doing tech jobs, no degree in Nigeria, and they just immerse themselves into, you know, um, a comprehensive training where they learn all sort of program languages, software languages, and that is it. At the end of the day, they are being sought after by international companies. So that's one. Two, when you get the skills, then you
Uh,
get the info.
Tulane, can you just pause,
Right.
right? Please pause. Let me take a little bit of. I want you to gather your thought. I want you to gather your thought again. Look at your paper, all right, and then I'll come back to you. Let me welcome Michael, because Michael is in Nigeria, and I'm always conscious of the fact that Nigeria can happen to him anytime. So, uh, Michael, you're welcome. I want you to introduce yourself, and then if you see what is on the screen right now, it says, "What are the options available to Nigerian youths?" Initially, we've said things are hard for Nigerian youths. So now we are looking at the options. In your own opinion, from your own personal experiences and exploration, what are the options you think are available to struggling Nigerians?
Oh, thank you so much. I sincerely apologize for joining late. This is not deliberate. Yes, the subject is I think it's timely, and let me also join my words because my brother already buttressed that extensively, but I would love to add something before I say one or two other things. It has much to do with character as well. Of what value is academic accolade or accolades, as it may be? Of what value is intellectual wizardry when we are morally bankrupt? And I used to tell people when I have opportunity to engage at least some of the mentees I move around with, there are people somewhere that they are possibly not interested in the class of degree you graduated with quote and unquote. And I need to expressly state that I'm not saying that academic accolades really don't matter. What I'm saying in essence is that with your academic accolades, back it up with character, because your degree actually may earn you a job, definitely, but what will quite sustain it is character. And I've seen several instances where people got recommendation for a job on the basis of academic accolades, and at the end of the day they got kicked out of the system because of the moral bankruptcy. So in essence, I am just adding to what my brother already said, that plus our academic strengths, plus what do you call it now, the network that we have, we should also try as much as possible to be of good character. And let me round it up by saying this. There's this story that was told at the time of a guy who graduated top of his class, and after he went for the aptitude test. I think maybe because of the organizational policy, they conducted what do you call it? Is it aptitude test for him now? A recharge card of about maybe 5,000, I don't know the exact amount, was sent to him, and he was called upon to actually refund the money to the rightful owner. He merited the interview, scaled through all the processes, and at the end of the day, when he was tested on the basis of morality, he got missed up. And an average Nigerian will tell you that Akaratu wono eko ijade, and that was how the guy missed a lifetime opportunity. Why take what does not really belong to you, in the true sense of it? So coming back home, well, we are surviving. And to the glory of God, I am one of those young Nigerians that I will call myself privileged. Privileged in the sense that I've been working for relatively 7 years now, and I've never had cause to apply for any job. It has always been on the basis of recommendation and referral. And that is just to cap and I've shared my testimony with Village Boy, with Mr. Paul, and they can testify to some of this. So the environment is hard, no doubt. Things are very challenging. But I still don't believe that as young Nigerians, even if you are not from the very influential home, you are not from a wealthy home, you can still get stuff doing for yourself. We have legal internet services, I mean, online services that one can provide. People are making money legitimately online. But you see, this idea of what I call entitlement mentality is really affecting our generation. And not even my generation now, the generation maybe slightly ahead of mine and Dr. Timmy, and the one coming immediately behind us. So this is a whole lot of problem, and I think we really need to strongly address that. Having said that, I also want to talk about the available things in the environment. I see people trying to say, okay, they want to leave the country. Yes, it's good to have those such dream, but I used to say something. No, I think it's Bishop Benson in Dawsa, one of his quotes that said, "A lizard in Africa cannot become alligator elsewhere." So if you are living with a very myopic mentality here at home, you are not hardworking, you are not forthcoming. Even if you are in the best of the environment that gives you the opportunity, if the mental preparedness is not there, uh, bet I can bet it with anyone that such person will still get out of this environment, and at the end of the day we still not make good out of life. So that is all I think I would really love to say on that. The options are there. You can only be the one to define what you want for yourself, irrespective of what the prevailing circumstances are, rather, whether you want to fall victim of the situation or otherwise. But if otherwise, then you have to take advantage of every moment, available opportunity, backing it up with the right character, and make the best out of life. So, thank you.
All right. Okay. Tosin, the question is, you are in Dubai. What are the options that perhaps are available to Nigerians, whether those who are in Nigeria looking to Dubai, or those here in UAE? I'm sure there are people who are watching this now who are probably in Dubai or in the UAE generally. I'm currently in the UAE too, and I understand the situation, and I think it has not been rosy for a lot of us, for a lot of Nigerians in the recent, at least in the last 1 year. Okay, so but then never say never. So let's hear from Tosin.
Thank you. Yeah. In the last 1 year, it's not been rosy for Nigerians in UAE. But still, I can say that many Nigerians are getting jobs. Before this whole issue began, what people usually say is that Nigerians don't get a good job here in UAE. But when the issue of work permit started and everybody start talking about where they work and how their company cannot get them work permit and all that, then we began to get aware that Nigerians are indeed getting good jobs here. Um, Another opportunity Nigerians living, working in UAE or intend coming to UAE can look into is seeing UAE as a gateway to other countries that will accommodate them more. Seeing UAE as a gateway because a majority of the people here are workers that want to go to work, get salary, and send home to their family. I'm not saying sending money back home to one family is bad. I'm just saying majority of workers here, this is what they do. But as we are Nigerians that want to explore the world, that don't want to stay in a place, always aspire for more. We can see this place as a gateway. Come here, get a good job, or get a job, get a bank account, build a bank account, um, and from here move further to other country. Because I understand that traveling from Nigeria to Other part of the world is not that easy, especially when embassies, some embassies have been fully booked now, even till next year in Nigeria, appointments from embassy. But in UAE, most embassies are free, so we can talk to them. But at the same time, all these things are good when we talk like this. But this because the situation of things right now in this country has put us in a very difficult situation. We pray, we hopefully things will get better soon, as we also make things better for ourselves. So if you're Nigerians in UAE or you're a Nigerian back home, you're watching this now, you'll be watching later. Please let us stop sharing bad videos about ourselves. Let us stop sharing bad stuff about ourselves online. It doesn't portray us well. Every nationality fight, every nationality are violence, but you will not see them sharing stuffs online. Believe me, Nigerians, we are not even top two of countries that are violent around the world, especially in UAE. But other people do not bring their stuff online. They don't carry their bad behavior on their head like I'm carrying my headphone now on my head. But for us, you see people sharing. It is understandable that many people are not happy with the nation Nigeria, or and especially with our leaders, our politicians. But at the same time, if you are bitter about the country, please let your anger only be with the leaders and not to your fellow Nigerians. Understand that your action or inaction, express stuffs you post online, will affect both all it will affect all of us. And those leaders that you are angry with, it will not affect them. Right now, people cannot get some visas. Some people are having sleepless night now. Believe me, if Nigerian politicians want to come here, they have the money. Some of them will have resident visa even without using it. So they don't need some visas to come to this country. And when they come, they're living large. They don't live like you and I. So if you're sharing videos online, pointing fingers to a region that they are bad or so, you are only doing yourself. You are only implicating yourself, because when the consequences comes, it is the masses, we, the citizen, me and you, that will suffer it. So opportunities are banned in this country, even when work permit problem is there and all that. People are still getting jobs because people are making partner visa and they're coming back to get NOC. That means they find a job. Although options are not much like they used to be before, but people are still getting jobs. We just need to portray ourselves in an organized manner and show that we key into the dreams of the founding fathers of UAE, of making a country number one in the world. And when we do this, they will accommodate us well, like they have always accommodated us and welcome us.
All right. Thank you, Tosin. I One thing that I would say in addition to what Tosin has said is that and this is perhaps for those who are perhaps aspiring to come to the UAE. Personally, I haven't been in the UAE since 2014, in and out of the UAE since 2014. I think personally, UAE should not have the mentality of coming to settle. Like you will say, maybe you go to US, UK, Canada, or some of the developed countries and say you want to go settle. So don't have such plans when coming to UAE. UAE is a tourist center. And I think for a long, long, long year to come, that is how it is planned. That's how it's going to be. So you are supposed to come here temporarily and go away. And as I know Nigerians are different on different levels. Like Timothy said earlier, Nigerians want to excel. We are competitive. We are resilient. But you see, for average Asian, they just want to, work maybe in their construction company, send their money back to their family at home. That's all. They are comfortable sleeping in as 10, 5 in their accommodation. It's not easy for average Nigerian. I don't think we are wired to live like that. And every Nigerian will want to travel abroad. They say, "Oh, this is my certificate. I need to upgrade. Let me go and do one course." It's not like that. An average university in the UAE costs at least maybe 40, 50,000 dirhams per semester. You can't do it here. And some of these countries might be able to get loan. You can't get it here unless you have a big job that's paying you a lot of money. And I know there are a lot of Nigerians who are in big positions of influence in this country. But for people who are hustling, I don't think for now you shouldn't even try to come to UAE. If you don't have a first degree and have a lot of experience, for now, don't even come to UAE. Don't plan it if you are planning it. That's just from my own personal experience, Tosin, I want to talk about visa later, maybe in a while. So for now, before I come back to Timileyin, let me quickly ask the village boy. You can see the exodus of talents from Nigeria. What is the implication of this?
Thank you very much for that question. It is a double-edged sword. Double-edged sword in the sense that when it comes to individuals, are you going to ask them to tie themselves down to the country that is offering them nothing? So if you are talented and you have what it takes to work anywhere in the world, and you have the opportunity, so what will be your constraint? You go. If you go to where you can take care of yourself better, where you can take care of your family better, which if somebody asks you not to go, that is one side of it. At a collective, it is a disaster for the country. A disaster for the country. Look at our medical personnel. We train them cheap. They go abroad, they thrive. Our own medical facilities in jeopardy. So we are treated by quacks. We resort into self-help. That is one feat. The best brains now, the best Nigerian brains, is without exaggeration outside Nigeria. That will hamper the development of the country. But you cannot preach to the people to stay. Because you ask me, why did I leave? For many like us, we did not leave because we were failures. We left because we don't want what we are seeing now, we don't want it to affect our children. Many of people in my journey left because of our children, because we want them to have a better environment, better education. We pay, for us, it's a huge sacrifice we pay. And many of us are still paying. Many of my generation, things were really, really tough for us coming here, coming at the age we came. But the consolation many of us are like, when you see your children thriving, it's okay, you have not labored in vain. So it is a two-edged sword. You can't say those who have the opportunity not to go, but do we know that the collective implications of us leaving is devastating? And that is why many of us, we still decide to leave, half of us, part of ourselves, still doing things for Nigeria, still doing things about Nigeria. If it is only mentoring people, it's only, for instance, I've published 3 books. I ensure that my books are published in Nigeria. That is a way of contributing to the economy, because those who printed those books, they make some dough for themselves. That's a way of giving back. Of course, there are other things I do underneath that shows giving back. So for the country, it is devastating. I was reading some days ago that in the banking sector in Nigeria is becoming like a ghost house. The best brain in the banking sector, they have all disappeared. I don't know whether it is true. They say they are even now converting security guards and cleaners to tellers. I don't know whether it is true. And if that is true, though sometimes also most of those security guards actually are graduates. They became security guard because of no opportunity.
You are correct, sir. You are correct, sir.
So now, when I look at the implication of this mass exodus, my heart bleeds. But I also ask myself, you also left. Yes, I left. I had to leave. Because again, many people in my generation who wants to go the straight path, many of us who wanted to go the straight path will find it tough. Many of us who wanted to do the things the proper way, and with all sorts of humility, I can say I'm one of those who wanted to do things the way it should be done. And it was tough, it was a struggle. Because the society you are kind of fighting for is the same society that will frustrate you. It's the same society that will not tell you that what they will be telling you what your mates have achieved that you have not achieved. It's the same society that will want to make you feel like you are a failure when you actually are not a failure, just that you are trying to walk straight. That's what we did. So when the opportunity to Japa is the new languages now, I reluctantly embrace it. I wasn't too excited to leave. I left a travel firm, employ about 8 people when I left. Today they have collapsed it. The people I left, those people I left the company in their hands, collapsed it. One general, literally speaking. I had to look for money to pay debt. So, and they tell me all kind of lies. Because there are pains we go through. But the nation is the net loser of this mass exodus. We are 5 on this platform. 4 of us are outside. I know if I stretch my hand strong long enough now, I pull Michael out of Nigeria, he won't be able to resist it. It will leave. So it's a double-edged sword. You can't prevent people seeking for a way to better their lives, but we know the collective implication of all this. Max exodus is like Nigeria is visually heading to a collapse. Nothing. Some people are trying to go back. Even I don't know that it's tough. It's tough. Except many people become like Nehemiah, those who read the Bible, who will one day come back to rebuild. We also a possibility. I pray for that. I long for that. That many of us who are here will not just sleep. We will remember that our Jerusalem wall has fallen. And we need to do something to rebuild it. The system is so frustrating, and we have government that doesn't to care about what is going on. This is a nation that their youth are being thrown because of simple agreements between government and us. But they are busy campaigning for election. They want to be president next year. The house is on fire. There is no security. Look at the man that just went, I think Ogbomoso or Ogbomoso, I think. The guy they just killed, kidnapped, because organized by his younger brother, and they killed him. The man just came from US. People are even now scared of going home. It's a double-edged sword. It is the individual will benefit, but society, Nigerian society, will lose big, and it's losing big. That's the truth. But you can't stop an individual. You can't slap me and ask me not to cry. So that you don't slap me. And when you slap me, the prerogative is on me to cry. So Nigerian society has slapped all these youth, and they are crying. They move out, leading to the mass exodus. It's not their fault. If I'm in Nigeria today, I believe that's never like if I'm in Nigeria that works at my age and with my contribution so far to life, I should get more recognition in Nigeria than here. But I'm here.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm very too emotional, right?
No, it's I think it is part of it. I think it makes all of us kind of emotional. You know, I was telling I think my wife a few days ago that the program that I have just finished now, I'm supposed to have finished it more than 15 years ago. But because I was handicapped and my parents couldn't support me, they couldn't do much on their own, and the system did not support me. You know, if the system worked, I wouldn't have left Nigeria. I was a student of OAU, you know, but it wasn't working. It was like hell, you know. So, and what I have done now in India for 5 years, a bachelor's and a master's simultaneously. If I had been in Nigeria, probably would take me 8 years, you know. And I got a full scholarship. Even at my age, I didn't expect I was going to get scholarship, and it's not even STEM. You know, when you Google, like Timlani was talking earlier, if you Google anything STEM, if you study anything STEM in Nigeria, you study in any university in Nigeria, the opportunity that is, schools abroad are looking for opportunity to steal you away. You know, and that's one of the reasons I posed that question to the village boy. You know, it might be a little bit difficult for people who are in the social sciences or the business admin, except if you are looking for MBA and you are seriously good. You understand? But if you are in the STEM and whatever make you get a first class or even for second class upper, opportunity to get funded is high if you are a Nigerian. You know, so I don't know. I just hope that perhaps maybe when some of the consolation for me is that some of us cannot leave Nigeria completely. Even though we've left, our mind remains there. Like the village boy, like all of us here on this platform that I have had the opportunity to relate with. I know that regardless of where we live, our mind, you know. So I will go back to, I yield the mic back to Clue. Opportunities that typical Nigerians, average Nigerians, you know, people from zero like myself, what are the opportunities that you can tap in? It's not going to be easy. You might be saying it as if you might think it's easy, but the truth is, you are going to hustle as if your life depended on it for you to be able to even get those scholarships. So, similarly, please go ahead. And please do share. Don't be selfish. Please share so that one youth, you know, somebody there might be able to stumble on it and get something. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just before I go back to it, I really love the balanced perspective that the village boy brought to the conversation, talking about the mass exodus of Nigerian talents. And that's the truth. I mean, I really became emotional when he was talking about why he left and the huge sacrifice. Imagine someone living not because he has not given his best to a society, but because he is not sure that his best that he has given so far would even pay off over his children. So that is a huge, huge sacrifice. And imagine people that have not even given birth to their own children yet, but they are surviving. Or they want to live just because it's no longer conducive for them to thrive. It is someone that is living that is living right that will think about I want to have a child, right? So this is very serious issue in the Nigerian state, and we all should take it seriously. And I think I talked about global academic opportunities, and I talked about career pathways, especially about getting required skills. You can do a demo search, like a dummy search of the kind of job we want to do. And this is not limited to Nigeria. Like I said, I have seen people without degree working for tech companies outside of Nigeria. They are constantly being recruited. If you have the required skills, all you have to do is to get the skills. And see, this tech industry has really revolutionized the employment system, especially on a global scale. You don't really have to have that degree in computer science before you can work as a developer or UI UX designer or developer. You don't really have to have that degree. What people need right now, Elon Musk and other giants, entrepreneurs in the world, they are not looking for your papers. What they are looking for is what can you bring to the table? And if you can strive to get those required skills, you will be wanted. See, there are so many people living in Ajaleki, Nigeria, and they are not actually leaving their homes. They are working from home and they are earning in foreign currency. I need you to verify this fact. I know for sure. I know more than 3 of them. So you don't, and these people, some of them studied microbiology like you, studied biochemistry, but because there is no way, or because they finish with a top class, because you are putting a fish on the tree to climb, they wouldn't thrive in that kind of environment. So they sought for a way out, and within 6 to 9 to 12 months, they were armed with resources, with skills, with knowledge, with information, and they found the right channels and the right pathway to employment stability. And that is it. And one thing about abroad, I don't know about Nigeria, but one thing about abroad is once you launch that first job, you keep going because the experience keeps building on that first job experience that you have. So that is it about job. And I will just briefly talk about Canadian immigration opportunity. This is especially for Nigerians that have probably finished their first degree and they are not up to 30 years of age, because it really favors you if you are less than 30 years probably, or if you are more than 30 years but you are married and your wife also has great prospects in Canada. Because what Canada is actually looking for, I'm talking about the Canadian Express Entry now, what the Canadian Express Entry system is looking for is people that can bring value to the country. So they want someone that is really young, that can still work and contribute to the economy of the country. So if you are less than 30, you have 1 or 2 degrees, especially if you have 2 degrees, you are a hot cake, right? You have 2 degrees and you know that you can nail IELTS. You can write IELTS general exam test and you can nail it. You can get, great scores. You should try as much as possible, go write that language test and get yourself into the system, even if you don't have the required points yet. Last year, it used to be 460, 450 that they look for. This year, because there has been a backlog due to COVID-19 now, people that are being called for application now, they are like on 550, 530, 540. But the thing is, once these people are out of the way, it will go back to 460, 450. So just get yourself into the system, register, put your scores there. But the truth is, you cannot start if you don't have IELTS. So write your exam, tell your spouse to write the exam, get into the system, and keep looking out for information. They always bring out information every 2 weeks about the next prospect, potential opportunities, and pathways. That is one way to get into Canada. So another way is probably you have a master's admission and you want to come in through study pathway, or you have an undergraduate admission, that's one sure way that you can get into Canada as well. The first one that I said, the express entry is about permanent residency. Once you get here, you become a permanent resident of Canada. But for the study route, you finish your school, you get work permit, and probably, but you get a permanent residency. The good thing about Canada is that there is a clear, unambiguous pathway to becoming a citizen. So right from the day you get in, you know what your chances are at becoming a citizen. So that is why I tell people, especially if you are privileged, you have parents who can sponsor you for undergraduate degree, don't waste away. Don't wait. Don't say Covenant University or Babcock. Enter Canadian University. Enter, if you can enter Covenant, if you can enter Futa, you can enter OAU, and your parents have money to send you to Covenant, I'm sorry to tell you, you should rather consider Canadian University, because number one, you cannot match the experience you will gain there. You cannot match the opportunities to anywhere else in Nigeria. So for you, whose parents have money, big money, convince them to send you abroad instead of staying at home. That is it. That is the situation right now. I'm sorry if I'm contributing to the mass exodus of talent in Nigeria, but it is what it is. You have to think about your future. You don't want to waste away. There are so many brilliant people in Nigeria that are wasting away. And lastly, I want to talk about the work route. So many people get into Canada through work. They get work permit. There is something called labor marketing. This is the last one I'm talking about, Mr. Paul. So don't stop me.
Before you go to that one, so that we don't begin to. I don't want Tosin to sleep. I want Tosin to quickly talk about some app that him and some other guys have developed. So I'll bring you to the screen soon. I beg, no verse.
No worries.
I really have interest in what Mr. Timile is talking about.
Oh, okay. so sorry. Okay, let me bring Tumilai back then.
Okay, please.
All right, Tumilai, continue then.
Thank you for being my advocate, Mr. Tosin. I love that, because I was just rushing to wrap up, because
we are closing in the next 10 minutes. I believe.
So this is the last one I'm talking about, and is one of the rare routes by which people come to Canada. It is the work pathway. So there are some jobs that you can actually source from outside Canada. You can apply for the job, and the employer will sponsor you to enter Canada. So most times, these employers get what they call LMIA exemption certificate or document. LMIA is the document that requires the sponsor to check around Canada. This talent you want to bring into Canada, can you not source it locally? So there are some works that they just get exemption for. For instance, caregiver, people that take care of old people or people with disabilities. So this kind of jobs, they are always online. Just type LMIA exemption and then job work pathway to enter Canada. That's one sure way to get. Another one that I have mentioned broadly before was tech. They usually bring in tech guys into Canada. Just try and find what works for you. I think, just to wrap up, I have mentioned global academic opportunities. I have mentioned job and career pathways, and lastly, I talked about the Canadian immigration system, which could be splitted into permanent residency, study route, and lastly, work permit. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And viewers for staying with us. I want you to please help us share the link so that other people would be able to see this video. It's important, the information that has been shared. I want to also add that somebody said visa applications in Nigeria are already packed. Somebody said it is packed even until 2024. But I would want to suggest that I believe that these visas that are packed, that is slot for interview, is mainly for other visas other than study visa. So if you are applying for a study visa, if you have gotten an if you have gotten, for instance, if you are applying to the US and you have gotten your I-20, definitely they would find slot for you. Okay, if you have gotten admission letter and fulfill all the righteousness, if you apply for study visa, there's always going to be slot for study visa. They will not say, oh, there's no slot for study. Somebody that want to apply for study visa up to next year. I don't think that's possible. So, Tosin, let's start standing. Let us start rounding up.
Okay, thank you very much. In my closing, I just want to I talk to friends that are watching about a new mobile app that is launched yesterday. The mobile app is designed for Nigerians living, working in UAE, and Nigerians and all Africans that are living, working in UAE, and Nigerians and all Africans that intend to come to UAE. They have as some sections we're going through. It has the business sections and services section and service section, business and service. What this app will help you to do is this. You are a Nigerian in, let's say, Alain Abu Dhabi. And because I used to stay in Alain before, I spent more than 3 years in Alain. And that time, I can only eat Nigerian food when I come to Dubai, to my head office in Dubai. So whenever I have an appointment or training in head office, I make sure I don't go back without eating Nigerian food. My years in Alain, I cannot locate anyone cooking or selling Nigerian food. Although there's an African restaurant in Alain now. So if you're in Nigeria, you're in Alain, and you need where to buy raw Nigerian African food, you can get it on the app. Where you need where to locate African restaurants, you can get it on the app. You need where to get a Nigerian African barber shop, you can get it on the app. And also people that are providing services, you have them on the app. We have people that when they want to sew their clothes, they send the material back home to Nigeria to their tailors. While we have some other Nigerian tailors here that do not have customer to sew for, and they are very good guys. So we are bringing every Nigerian business and every Nigerian entrepreneur on this app so that you can know these services and businesses that are around you. We are bringing them so that so we are calling on vendors. If you have business in UAE, you're Nigerian, you're an African, you have business in UAE, please come and register on the app. It is free. It is free. And also you can download the app. The name of the app is Afro Palace Dubai. Afro Palace Dubai. It is launched already on Play Store, on Google Play Store. And we are looking in the next coming weeks to launch it on iOS, to have the iOS version. Also, we are working closely with the Apple guys so that it will be launched. And also, we have a segment there for news and events. Enough of fake and unverified news about Nigerians in UAE. We're posting news there daily about things and events that is happening in UAE, so you can get verified news from this app. And also, there's a segment there for social media where we can connect with ourselves where we can connect with ourselves. Some other, we have seen posts in some groups of people dying of depression. They are here, they don't have friends, they just go from their work to home every day, and they have things bothering them. They need to share with people, but they don't have anybody to share with because in their community they don't even see any African or black skinned person they want to share with. They identify as brother or sisters. So there's a segment there for social media where we can network with ourselves, talk with ourselves. You are in Nigeria, you're in Africa, you want to come to UAE, you can network with people that are already here, have idea of what is truly happening here. We have had testimony from people that they don't even know what the country is designed to be before they come here, and they are not getting information from the right people. I know someone that's come to this country and didn't bring any of our credentials because they told her that Nigerians cannot get good job here. Is that you do maid or you do street, and which is not true. We have many Nigerians that are working with their credentials, even ladies. Someone is saying that please, what also the development on visa issue currently? It is weekend. The update on visa is that partner visa is available for now. Partner visa is going. Visa change, there's no clear update on visa change and visit visa. Visa change and visit visa, there's no update on them. It remains on hold. If anybody is telling you to bring money, they will get you that. They are just lying for you. They say you should bring money, they're just lying for you. Let us remain calm. Let us see until Monday evening. There should be update about visit visa and visa change. But what we need you to do is this. Even if your visa is not about, if your visa is less than 15 days from ending your 3 month visa, please get in touch with the company that make that visa. Get in touch with your sponsor. If you don't know the company, check with your agent or check on that visa. You will see a section they wrote there, sponsor, the name of the company that sponsor your visa is there, and the number, their number also is there. Please call them, explain things to them before they will keep you on ASCON. Some company immediately you don't change your visa, the next day they put you on ASCON. And to remove ASCON is 3,000 plus. So you will not want to pay all those. So get in touch with the company that sponsored your visit visa now before things get out of hand. We hope that all this issue will be over very soon. And also, we have a lot of work to do. We should stop posting fake and unverified news about ourselves online. We should learn how to use the social media to our advantage. If you have grievances with the government, direct your grievances towards the government and not towards your fellow Nigerians. We will, on the Afro Palace app, please install this app on your mobile phone. Tell your friends, tell your Nigerian friends, tell your African friends to install the app. Exploit the app. Take advantage of it. Let us spread this good news about ourselves. The reason is this: if you don't spread good news about yourselves, people will share bad news about you. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Tosin. Um, please download the Afro Palace app and let's encourage them. I will also download it after this show now. And let's be of good behavior, especially for those of us here in the UAE. Let's, Michael, as we close now, please give your closing remark, and then I go to Village Boy. Are you still there?
Thank you so much. Am I clear now? It's getting dark here. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, there's really nothing much to say other than to tell us that, irrespective of what the situation of things may be around us now, particularly in Nigeria, let us keep hope alive. I believe, let me speak for myself now, that Nigeria is going through this particular difficult time to actually get us to a better situation. We only hope and pray that 2023, as we go to the pool, that things will turn out better. Don't let us give up. Let us be of the right attitude anywhere we find ourselves, and let us continue to be a good ambassador, or rather good ambassadors of the country anywhere we go, and try as much as possible to protect your family name, which is most important. Thank you.
Village
Yeah,
Boy.
okay. Thank you very much. It's been an emotional topic. Um, except something is done very urgently too, except the we hot we start doing the right thing. No, we will not be able to halt the exodus. That's the reality. You can't ask people to keep hope against hope. You can't ask them to be patriotic on empty stomach. You can't ask them to be patriotic on no opportunities. What are we find is level. But if the leaders are concerned about the future of Nigeria, they have to find a way to make the youth more productive. They have to stop playing politics with people's life. Until we do that, I don't see how the exodus will stop. And many people, the ugly side of this exodus is like people are coming with bitterness. I've had cause to engage many young people here. They don't even want to help out Nigeria. A lot of them have even insulted, why are you even writing about Nigeria? What is your business? If you are no longer there. So, what? So they are creating bitterness in people because people are leaving the country with pains. And if the leader think that nothing is wrong, then something is actually wrong with them. So I don't know. That is what I appreciate the pain of Tosin about people who are writing negative about their country. It should not be so. They may not be justified, but is everybody. We have different coping mechanism. Many people left that country or are leaving that country with so much pain in their hearts. So, and they don't hold back by expressing that pain. And you cannot blame them. You can't blame them sometimes. Though we appeal to them to exercise caution because unfortunately what they are doing is robbing off on other innocent people too. So we see appeal to them, manage these pains. It's a collective pain. Even people today, if you go all over the world, travel with Nigeria passport, we are still subject to many ridiculous things. Because our country has put this collective pain on us, we still bear the pain. Even those of us, it is when they know that we hold another passport that they begin to smile to us. When they first see us as Nigerians or whatever, how they know, I don't know. They want to treat you the same way, but when they look at your passport and it's a different passport, their countenance will change. So we are bearing this pain together. But let us not complicate it further. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. I think Godwin said, I have a suggestion. Godwin, can you? Okay, I think maybe he was talking about the visa, right? Anyway, if you have a suggestion, please drop it in the comment. We will get back to you. Yeah, by a response, and if you can wrap it up, then we will get somebody to respond to it. Okay. All right, Tosin, I mean, so that I won't deny Timlain from rounding off his own, your goodbye comment. Timlain.
Thank you, sir. It has been a revealing time for me today, especially with most of what the village boy said, honestly speaking, and what Mrs. Oluwato said about what the information people are peddling, the videos in the UAE, and then that very important message from Michael that despite having credentials, networks, and all that, our character should still be at best. and that is very, very important. And what I would just want everybody to do for me is, uh, I'm imploring everybody that we don't know who is best for us as a country in the next elections, but please vote your conscience. Don't vote by association. Don't vote by my daddy said or my mommy said, my sister said, because whatever we are going through today, we know that it's a leadership problem, first of all. So let us try as much as possible to vote in credible and competent leadership in the forthcoming elections. I mean, I said this to some of my friends last week that if Nigeria was really working, many people that traveled out today would not do so. And there will be talent retention in Nigeria, and there is going to be nation building by people. See, Village Boy said something the other time that the best Nigerian brains are outside Nigeria. But yeah, that's where they could be called brains. Here, they are threats to some set of people, and that's why they cannot be here. So you can only be even a brain when you are reading, you are studying, you know that your brain can only function well when it is at peace. So let us understand that we need a conducive environment, and that environment can be given by a very serious government and leadership. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Guys, we have come to the end of it today. Godwin, I thought you were going to write your suggestion, but then maybe we will respond to it if it is directed towards the platform opinion sharers. And if it's specific to any of us, then I hope that whoever that the question is directed to would respond to it in the comment section there. So thank you very much. A lot has been said today, but there's so much problem not the finish as as Nigerians used to say. So we will be back again next week. Let's continue to be good people. Let's continue to be good ambassadors, representing Nigeria, representing our individual families, and representing whatever you believe in terms of God or religion. So I pray God will bless us. Okay, this Mr. Godwin finally said, please, why not we find a means for innovative young Nigerians, youth who are willing to work like computer development skills and more. Okay, that's true. Well, like this app that Tosin has created, and Tosin and his guys have created. You can pitch your ideas with them. If you have an idea that is sellable, please feel free to pitch your ideas with them, and then something big can start from that. Even those of us here in the UAE where you say there's nothing, 10-15 people can come together and you put ideas together, and since they don't want to give us job, right? If we don't want to go to Nigeria, then we should start creating our own jobs. Let's start creating something. That's the only way that I see. And I know that Nigerians we are highly resilient. I've lived among Asians, all the Asians. I've lived among even those ones who are not Asians. I've spoken with them. I've never seen the kind of resilience that Nigeria has. And I think perhaps it is associated with Christianity or whatever it is. I think it should be studied, really. I've been saying it. In many places I've said it. In fact, I was going to write something about the implication of the Nigerian church, and I think that was going to be a major part of it, because I think it's the church, the church in Nigeria, especially in the south, has contributed that into the average Nigerian as much as there are other. Anyway, please feel free. We will be here again next week, Saturday. But don't go and give your money to somebody and then that person chop your money. Oh, please, we need to also be aware of that. So thank you very much. He said because a lot of knowledge are in me, but funds are to be partner with also. Thanks. Okay, you can talk to Tosin. If you don't have money, you have a great idea, or you have skill that you can contribute. Skill is also as good as money. So talk to somebody. It's not always about money. It's about, if you have a skill, like some of these technical skills, or I mean technological skills, there are things you don't even need a degree for, that people can study on their phone, on their laptops. And then, please reach out to people that are doing something that aligns with you. I built Opinion Sharers website, even though I've never learned computer one day. So please, we will be here again next week. We have spent 1 hour 40 minutes, so we got to go now. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. If you have not yet shared, please share now. Bye bye.